All righty, here we are at the Crystal Clear Point Studio with Luann Morris and Dr. Matthew Pierce and Deborah Colleen Rose. And it is January 2nd, 2024. And guess what I got? I got a new
What
hat.
did you get?
No,
Woo-hoo!
another one?
I did. I am the hat queen.
Where's that white one I saw?
It's back there on the very back behind me, right back there.
Okay, so who
There
gave
you
you
go.
this one?
I just bought it myself. I liked it. And
Now, where do most of your hats come from? I mean, do people give them to you or do you buy them?
no, most people give them to me. It's kind of
Okay.
weird. And I don't know why. It just started a long time ago, and then all of a sudden it kind of escalated. It's kind of like, termites or rats. They just multiply.
She manifests them too, because we went to the gala and there were hats there, cowboy hats, and she wanted one. So she got another guy to bid, and the bid was actually for two. And he won, and he gave her one. He just gave it to her.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. So I went on Amazon and I bought a bunch of hat bands and a big roll of tulle ribbon, and I got a bunch of Ace of Spades playing cards. I don't know why somebody was selling 10 Ace of Spades cards on eBay, but they were. And so I'm going to stick feathers in there and the Ace of Spades card, and I got some rose pins to put in my hats, and I'm going to start decorating them. But I'm going to brand my hats for the gigs. So they
why
have a
not?
rose, the Ace of Spades, a feather, and things like that. So I'm all about the hats.
Cool.
All right, so it's 2024. We're old as fuck. Uh,
We're feeling it today.
we're all kind of dragging tail today a little bit, but used to I drag tail when I was younger, but I had a reason. I drank a lot the night before. I
Mm.
didn't drink this year.
Hey, I stayed up till midnight, so I figured my job was done.
Yeah. That's something I am going to do different. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, and that's what we're going to talk about today is things we're going to do different or things that we want to shift in our lives. And I don't believe in resolutions. I don't believe in trying. You just say, this is what I'm doing in the moment. And if you repeat it the next day, then eventually it becomes a new habit. So, um, but anyway, I have figured out that I've gotten in the habit of going to bed at 1. No, I actually go to bed at 9 and watch TV till 1 or read or whatever. And then I get up at 8 or 8:30 as a rule. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go to sleep earlier. I'm going to get up earlier so I can have my quiet time in the morning. So I did that today. So I liked it. I'm going to repeat it tomorrow.
I try to go to bed at 10, but I do the same thing. I read. Of course, my reading takes place on my phone. So my son says, Mom, that doesn't help. Yeah, because you're still using electronics, so you're not. So.
Are you reading a book or are you doing social media?
Reading a book.
Oh my God, I wish I'd known that. I would have given you a tablet. At least it'd be a bigger screen.
That's what I do is I read my books.
Yeah. Oh my God. On a little bitty, teeny tiny screen.
Yeah.
I like paper books still. I love the smell. I love the feel of them on my hands. I don't know. I have all kinds of electronic devices to read books on and don't do it. And I don't like audiobooks either because people never read the book right. They get the inflections wrong. They do, or they use the wrong tone of voice for the dialogue. Oh my God, if you were a good actor or actress, you wouldn't be reading an audiobook. You'd be on the stage.
Exactly. Well, the reason I read them on my books is because I have my Kindle on there and I get all these free books because of Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's a good deal. I don't enjoy it though. What about you, Matthew? What do you do?
I'm a geek. I'm honestly, I mean, if I'm not watching a tutorial on YouTube or something else like that, um, I'm planning. I mean, it's weird, but for me, doing flow processes and things like that to me is relaxing, and so I do that a lot. There are some little entertainment things. And this will kind of go into one of the things that I'm going to be doing later on this year. I mean, I, I I've kind of walked away from the creative stuff. I'm a graphic designer, so I'm used to making artwork and doing things like that, and I've kind of gotten away from that. So, I've been like here lately taking a look at, honing my skills again for, some of the programs that I use. So
Okay,
that's
I
what
got a guilty pleasure.
I,
It's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. I like to do what you do. I like to watch tutorials on YouTube and stuff and find recipes or how to I don't do arts and crafts, so I don't look at those. And about 6 months ago, I stumbled on this guy with this really neat Irish accent. So I started listening to him. And what he does is that he is a professional cow hoofer. There's a word for it, but I can't remember. And he cleans up the cow's hooves and doctors them.
yes, yeah.
And they split and they get infected and all this
He's a
stuff.
furrier.
No, that's not a furrier. It's not that. I don't, and he has to use this really sharp knife, and I love knives. I've collected knives. I still have my original knife that I got when I was 3 years old. It was a real knife, and it's still sharp. And I used to wear that thing on my little 3-year-old belt. Who gives a 3-year-old girl a knife? But anyway, I love watching him and what he does with these cow hooves, and they glue a plastic thing on one side of the hoof so that the other side of the hoof can stay off the ground and heal, and they use
Right.
iodine. I want to learn how to do that. I do. I think that would be fascinating to do that. So that's my guilty pleasure. I watch him.
Okay.
I know
Nothing
it's
wrong with
weird.
that at all.
I just found it interesting. And it's not, I'm not horses. I don't want to watch the horses. And there's a guy in Brazil that does donkeys and horses. I don't watch him. But I just like this guy. And I like, but the way that all of that is just hoof, it's just like big, thick fingernail stuff. And they just carve it off and they get a grinder and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, that would really work off some tension, wouldn't it?
Sometimes can be a gross job.
Oh yeah, that is. And there's all kinds of muck, literally muck that the cows get into and stuff. It's filthy.
It's cow
And
poop.
well, some of it's mud. I mean, they don't walk around in cow poop all day long. I mean, they're out in the field. So, and sometimes they get nails in there and sometimes they get all kinds of crap and oh, it's just and oh, one had a maggot in it. Ooh, it was gross. Enough of that. But anyway, I get the YouTube fascination. I do. Yeah. So what are you going to do different though this year?
As far as just, I mean, well, I, I'm just, in the midst of, starting a new business and, doing some different stuff. So I do definitely need to have a better work-life balance. I'm the kind of person that can work 14, 15 hours a day, and I mean, I'm A-okay. But that doesn't come with a lot of like, okay, Matt, you need to take some creative time. You need to take and do something that you want to do, that is like not work. I
You
mean, I
need to
love what I do,
date.
so
You
do
need to
what?
date. You need to date.
Yeah, probably.
And Luann needs to date. Ooh, we should start a new show. Date the host.
Date the
And
ho
people
oh, I'm glad you put the ST on the end of that.
date the hoe. No. Where people can call in and date
Beg
either
your
one of
pardon?
y'all. Yeah, and then we come back and then we report back on the date and how it went, and they can tell you what you did wrong, and you can tell them what they did wrong, and all that stuff. We should do that. That'd be a whole new
There is a
show.
radio station that does do that.
Mm.
Really? What? Who? What?
Uh,
What?
is it 96.3? What they do is they talk. Usually, it's people who date one time and then nothing else happens, and one of the party can't figure out what happened, so they call them and call it a second chance
Oh,
date.
that could get
So,
ugly.
so the host talks to the person who is not responding, and to find out what went wrong with the date.
See, I would have no interest whatsoever. I'd be like, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. Sorry. No,
It's
I'm
like,
not gonna rehash. I'm not gonna rehash that. I have better things to do
you
with my
can't
life.
love all of this. What's wrong with you? I had a guy tell me that one time, though, that my ass was too big. He came to pick me up for a date. We hadn't met. This is when you could go to the Dallas Observer and, put an ad in there.
Yeah.
And I even remember the part of the ad. It was like, I'm an uptown girl and that likes to go downtown. And I like dressing up and I like wearing blue jeans. And it went on like that and everything. And this is when I owned my bail bond business. And so he was an attorney. He was a criminal attorney. So I'm like, oh, this is a great match. We can work together, blah, blah, blah. And he shows up at my house and he goes, your ass is too big. And he laughed.
Have a nice life, asshole.
And I said, but you know what? I make more money than you, asshole. So
So bye.
bye. Bye.
Yeah, I love it because I've done some ads, dating apps, and I said I'm a plus size girl, and that is not going to change. And then
Well,
I had one guy tell me, he goes, I forgot just how much fun big girls are. And I
wow.
went,
Wow. What does that even mean? I'd be like, what does that mean?
maybe he didn't think that he would have any fun, or maybe he didn't think that I had a personality, or I don't know.
There's a
But
fetish about that. They call them chubby chasers. And
well,
it's
I
a
tell you what
fetish.
I thought nobody needs your opinion about big girls. Really?
You know what? That's when I'd pull out my little knife when I was 3 years old and say, and you know what? We're also dangerous. We're fun and dangerous.
Yeah, I'm pretty dangerous, actually. Don't piss me off.
But you know what? I just had this conversation earlier this week that a lot of people say insulting things and they don't know they're insulting.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's like, what happened to teaching proper communication as far as etiquette? And this is, and I know I want to talk since I cuss like a sailor, but I don't cuss people out unless they deserve it. But Matthew, your glasses are disappearing and it's kind of freaky looking. It's freaking me out. Oh my gosh. Why do men wear their hat backwards?
I have no idea. I'm wearing my hat because my hair is an absolute and total mess. And yeah. So.
Okay. I just wondered if there was like a rule or
He doesn't want to shade the front of his face while we're talking.
yeah, that's good because he's very handsome. Did you see that picture I took of him that he's using as his profile picture now? It's
Yeah.
very attractive. I should be a
picture.
photographer. Maybe I'll do that this year.
Hey, do it. Do it.
Technically, I was a professional photographer for many years or videographer because I would do surveillance tapes. And it's not just enough to get the activity on the tape. You've got to get good face shots in there so you can identify the people and stuff. And boy, you learn to get some real funky angles, making sure that you get that face shot and stuff. So I remember, oh my God, never mind. I won't go there today. We're not talking about stuff
Well,
like that.
this year I want to rebrand my herbal business.
Yeah, we were talking about names. Did you come up with some more names?
Nope. Anybody else?
Nope. I'm going to walk you through a process though that will help out. So kind of get clarification. So it's one of the things that I use for a lot of people that are going through a rebranding process. To really focus on what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want to accomplish, things like that, and then go from there. So,
Well, this is all inspired by the fact that someone hacked my Facebook account.
yeah.
And not only that, they took over the Herbaloo Facebook and actually changed the name. and use my logo.
See, why would they take it over and then change the name? I don't get that.
Well, because it was in Vietnamese. They changed it to Vietnamese.
Well, you don't know if they changed the name. They may have just translated it into Vietnamese. It may be still herbal loo, but it's in Vietnamese.
I mean, I actually, Luann, I actually went in and reported it to Facebook saying, they took over this account, they hacked the account and, or have now started changing it. And now they're even posting like as you. So it's just like, Facebook, hello, do you not see this? Okay.
Yeah, the customer service on Facebook is hugely lacking.
Is
Hugely.
there not a way to get in contact with someone?
There is, but I mean, the process is really long and convoluted.
You have to get on a plane, you fly to the Amazon, then you trek through the forest,
Yeah.
you have to wrestle an anaconda.
Not one of the small ones, like the big, like
No.
50-foot ones.
One of the big ones. But I think it's a blessing in disguise. Because I told you I was not really fond of that name, herbal loo.
Right. And it was something that happened suddenly and kind of off the hip. And, I never revisited it. I thought, well, that's cute. Well, it is cute, but it's not what I want my business to be.
Well, to be frank, when I hear the word loo, I think of some big old guy with a cigar hanging out of his mouth, sitting behind one of those wire cages, taking bookie bets. That's just the visual I get every time I hear the word loo.
I'm not that kind of Lou.
So here he is. Here's Lou sitting behind the big cage with his cigar. And what makes him herbal, he's got a Ricola in his mouth.
Ricola.
Well,
That's how my brain works. Sorry.
so if anybody's listening to this, what do you want to call, what would you call your herbal business?
Yeah,
But is
okay,
it just
now, I
herbs?
have a little bit, don't ask those types of questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ask those types of questions, okay?
Don't ask.
Because, no,
Because
do
do you
not
really
ask.
care what they think?
No.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Okay.
and here's the thing, okay? Because you open things up to what they call design by committee, okay? And as many people as you talk to is as many opinions as you're going to get, and you're going to water down what the thought is of your business,
Mhm.
okay? So you have this conversation with one or two people, okay, and clarify it. Pinpoint it to the point where you can actually see it. I mean, Coca-Cola didn't go through like a whole rebranding, just because they gave up cocaine. Okay.
No, they didn't.
So, I mean, and the thing is, what did they do? They went and said, oh, well, hey, we want to get rid of the cocaine. I mean, they wanted people to they wanted to literally have like Coca-Cola rebranded something that didn't, I mean, it was horrible. I mean, if you ever seen any of the old, what do you call it? Boards that they did for the rebranding of Coca-Cola, it was horrible, horrible.
Never seen any of those.
I'll dig them up and show them to you, but it just,
Everybody's trying to do cutesy things,
Mhm.
cute things. Why don't you just call it what it is? Natural drugs.
Yep.
Natural drugs.
But I mean, but there's more to it. I mean, as Luann was saying, that there's the aspect of people that want to have that all natural, that non-GMO or ethically grown, and so on and so forth. That's a big selling point for a lot of people.
Well, and I didn't think it was a big deal, but there were instructors where I worked that they were all about fair trade.
Yep.
Is this organic and fair trade?
Fair
Because
trade.
if it's not fair trade, I'm not eating it.
Yep.
Natural
they were
ethical drugs.
They were that insistent that it be fair trade. In other words, you're getting a fair amount for the work that you're doing.
You know what? And I'm calling bullshit on that, because if that's the case, I want to talk to those people. Do they eat chocolate? Because there is not a chocolate company in this world that is ethical in the way that they get their cocoa. Okay. They're using child labor. It's all over the news, but no one's listening. There is very little out there in this world that from start to finish is moral, ethical, and right. So I'm just calling bullshit on people like that. That's just another way of them patting themselves on the back.
Well, Mountain Rose Herbs, where I get some of my stuff, they work very hard to make sure that it's as ethical as possible.
Well, but that's different than saying, oh, we don't do, the people say, I won't use anything unless it's 100% blah, 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 blah.
Right.
That's a little bit different. We all strive to do things in a certain manner, hopefully,
So
but
if they have a product or if they get herbs that are not, it's because someone's lying to them.
Right.
exactly. And you can't control all those aspects. So,
No.
but I mean, if people researched everything they put in their mouths, everything they ate, everything they bought, all the clothing, we would all be naked, we'd all be hungry, we'd be living off our own gardens in the backyard, because that's the only way you're going to have 100% ethical, non-slave, non-child labor, non-this, non-that, whatever, because there is evil in this world, people. It's called greed. It's called greed.
Hey, there was child labor in our garden.
Yeah, my granddaddy's too. Get out there and pull those weeds. You want to eat, you got to work for it.
Right. Absolutely, indeed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm in a not a bad mood. I'm in a cranky mood.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
You know what I'm
So-
cranky about? I want to be the female Howard Stern. Why can't I be the female Howard Stern?
Nothing saying you can't.
Where everybody wants to be on my show and we can just talk about whatever and people just think we're entertaining. Oh, we're doing that, just no one's watching us. Oh dear.
And now we have Deborah.
And now I like that microphone. I'm going to
That's
ask
what
you
I
about that.
that's what I used to record my podcasts on.
What?
My microphone.
Oh, it's blurry. It just looks like a big blurry penis.
It is a big blurry penis.
Okay, so this is mine.
That one's furry. Hell.
Hello, can you hear me? I think I unplugged it. I did unplug it.
So
Here's mine.
Oh my gosh.
I have
Best
a
queen
little
of this
white one.
group is.
he's a nerd. Yeah, of course he has it.
No, I mean I have a microphone set up and everything else like that, but I mean it's not set up right now. So I mean that's one of the things that I want to do is this year as well is get back into the video casting and so on and so forth. So
Well, I'm fascinated by I've been watching a card reader on TikTok. And I'm fascinated by how she approaches the whole thing.
Why?
Well, because usually people pay her, but here at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, she's doing some freebie stuff. And she was a nurse once upon a time, and she's designed 2 card decks. And I thought, wow, have I heard this someplace before? And she worked in the OR. And so, but I just, yeah, I don't know how she keeps up with the text that scrolls by and reads for people. That's
I wouldn't be able to do it. I have to have someone manage that for me if I'm doing like a live cast or something like that.
My daughter does that, Caitlin. She does that. She just did, in fact, she just did an online party for a small business that wanted to have her read for her clients. And she pulled in a buttload of money for someone that doesn't do this on a regular basis. I mean, seriously, I wouldn't have turned the money down. And did a 2-hour gig and people just loved it. And she's just doing 2 and 3, 4-minute readings for these people and on TikTok. And it's fascinating to me. But I'm like you, I'd have a hard time keeping track of all that.
Maybe that's something we need to investigate as far as Miles of Smiles events is, the aspect of here the host wants to hire us and they have a phone or an iPad or whatever else like that, that they can take her and say, okay, anybody wants a reading, here it is, you know? So we'll pass it around and have the reader be virtual, and, they can do readings, and then the person passes the,
But it certainly
the,
expands us to the other states, doesn't it?
yep.
Well, I did that during COVID. I did that with the team building and handwriting analysis, and I did it with readings, both. In fact, that's all I did for 2 years during COVID was the virtual parties. The parties are a little bit different because it's just like being in person, but you're on screen.
Right.
With the handwriting analysis, what I did is they had to submit the handwriting samples to me in advance, and I would do the analysis part of it. And this is how I got into the team building with this, because it never occurred to me otherwise. I would say, okay, this is someone's handwriting. This is the mini profile from the handwriting. And they had to guess who it was. And usually there was like 5 to 12 people in a group. And so then at the end, we would compare notes and see how many of them got it right. And what was so hilarious to me is they're all, oh, well, this is my team. We all know each other. We're like family. They never got them right. They didn't even get their own right. That was what was really fascinating. They didn't even guess their own profiles. And, and it's not that they're wrong. It's just that they don't get deep. They don't see past the facade or the work persona or whatever. But once they realized who it was, they're like, oh yeah, I can see that about them. And so they would take that information back, because I'd send the reports to them, and they would use that to develop better communications with the team members. So
I like that.
That makes sense.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. I love it. So, but
It's funny
there's a lot
because,
of things we can do.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's a lot of things that we can do with our gifts. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
even one-on-one, and what gave me the idea, this is, you'll laugh. I was at a Bible study a couple of months ago where they were doing prophetic ministry. And I've seen this before, but I never really kind of thought about it. And I've seen it on TV. And well, I feel pain in my foot. Is someone here having a foot issue? And, and then someone would say, yeah, I'm having a foot issue. And they would go and they would give them information. They would give them a message, or they would lay hands on them. You know what? There's not a reason why we couldn't just do broad messages like that virtually. And who knows, maybe more than one person needs that message. Maybe it pertains because my whole thing is if it encourages them and uplifts them, whether it was intended for them in my visual consciousness or not, if they got a message and they benefited from it, isn't that great? So, so there's a lot of things we could do if we want to. My whole thing is, what do I want to do when I grow up?
You had you said the word deep, like, get deep into it. And for some reason that triggered a thought of mine. I had a professor in college. Her name was Dr. Watson. And she would take on one topic a year. Okay. And she would like completely like just go nuts with that one topic, learn everything there was to know about it. And she would take it, and she would take that entire year and study that one topic, like backwards and forwards. And then the next year, she would actually use that knowledge in order to produce like something. Okay. She took on roses one year. Okay. The following year, she had one of the most beautiful rose gardens I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
And so, but she took it on, like, and she's like, so, when you do something, don't just do it half-assed, do a deep dive, so you can see your, I guess, what comes out of it on the other side. And that's always been one of those things that I have always been impressed with is, being able to, do that deep dive. So maybe I'll look at this year taking on something like that and just like researching it to, really, 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 really well. I don't know.
That makes sense, though. But I think my biggest inadequacy in my personality is that I have a lot of natural curiosity, but once I ask and answer some of the basic questions, I lose interest. And I'm just like, that doesn't have anything to do with me. That doesn't pertain to me. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't have a passion for it. I'm done. And that's one of the reasons why I don't have hobbies. I can't imagine sitting there and doing something over and over and over for years, months, days, years at a time. People that like crochet or maybe if I had a talent at painting, maybe that would be fulfilling. But I bet that's one of the reasons why God did not give me the gift of painting, because he knew I would get bored with it. Now, the only thing I don't get bored with is trying new things. I love to try new things and I love to write. I love those two things and I do those things constantly, but it drives Scott, my husband, nuts that I don't have any hobbies. It's taken him a long time to wrap his head around how a person cannot have hobbies. It is the same
Well,
thing with games. If I win a game, I'm done. Okay, I won. So what? Big deal. Don't need to do that again.
I I learned to crochet early in life because that's what you did if you were a Southern girl. You crocheted, you cross stitched, you knitted, you what was that other thing that I tried that I hated? Tatting.
Oh my God.
And
Oh,
anyway, but the crochet is very, I like the texture using my hands with the yarn, and I love it in the wintertime. So a lot of times I'll just make these little squares for my kitchen. It goes really fast. It's not overly taxing. I can sit in my chair, watch TV, and do it. But if I hadn't learned to crochet, then I wouldn't have that extra tactile. It's a tactile thing. It's something
You
that
could just
comes
buy
on.
some yarn and hold it and play with it.
But
Or get a
then,
nice soft blanket. Ooh, oh, this is velvet. Ooh, I do this all the time. Oh, I don't know. Now, I did have a hobby once years ago. It was latch hook rugs. And
I did that
I
too.
became like a demon. It was like I would buy this and I get started and I could not put it down till it was finished. It became a job. It was so I didn't even enjoy it, you know? And then I didn't like it because it looked homemade.
Yes.
I did that for about a year, and after I gave a rug to like everybody and their dog that I knew, I was like, I'm done with this. Nobody wants one of these rugs. This is ridiculous.
Well, to me, you've accomplished something, you've made something. I actually use my little crochet
Mhm.
things.
Well, I appreciate homemade things from other people. I do. My house is full of things that people have made for me. I adore them, but it doesn't have any meaning for me to do it myself. I don't know why. I don't know where the disconnect is, or if there even is one. Maybe this is just me and it's okay. I don't know. So,
Well, I think that to some extent, I'm that way. You work really hard to figure something out and you accomplish it and you go, okay, I did that. What's next?
my house is full of dead people. I'm sitting here looking in the background. This is my office, okay? Like those pillows came from a friend of mine's house just before she passed. That's her blanket. I know in the bench behind me, there's a bunch of blankets in there that she gave me. That bench was actually made by someone that has recently passed, I believe. My house is full of dead people. It really is. And it means something to me. It does, you know? So,
Meaningful memories. And
yeah.
they've seen, don't say it's full of dead people,
Well, it is. They're all dead. A lot of
but
my hats are
yeah,
for dead people.
it's their art. It's their art.
This is from a dead person.
It's their projects. It's their,
Well, their body's dead. They're not dead.
so now I'm sitting here going, what do I have in my apartment that is from someone
Dead.
who's passed? And I don't think I have anything. I
Everything
really
I
don't.
have has a story to it. I was just I was because I was thinking about downsizing. And I'm like, that's going to be the hardest thing in the world for me because it'll like be burying my friends again. Because everything in my house if it's not from a friend or something, there's a story of some sort attached to it. Because if it doesn't have a story, I get rid of it. I give it away. I'm always asking people, "Oh, that's kind of neat. Where'd you get that?" "You gave it to me." "Oh, that was when I was
Oh, well,
at the house
Oh, that's
again."
okay.
Yeah. If it doesn't have a story, it goes. It's out. It's gone. It's history.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anything. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. My grandfather got me a silver cornet to start learning how to play trumpet when I was like
Cool.
in 5th grade. So I still have that.
Silver is so cool too. That is not
It's a
normal.
beautiful piece.
You should play.
Um, yeah, no.
Just learn to play taps. It's the same. You don't have to do any fingers. It's just all done with your embouchure, and you can play taps once a day.
Well, that's for the bugle. Usually you have to put it in I can't remember but it's like the first and third. So to get the
I
same.
can
you
play
have to
taps
at
on the
least,
trombone. I can play it on. I used to play taps at our when we'd lower the flag at Girl Scouts on my trombone, and I still know all the words. Do you know
Well,
all the words?
I went from trumpet to baritone.
Oh wow!
Then from baritone to tuba. I
Oh
was
wow!
also 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row went to nationals. And then there was I almost got to internationals, but um, I got bumped. So
That's pretty cool though.
but then that was like all through high school. Then when I went into college, I in the marching band I did tubas. I am actually in the Guinness Book of World Records.
hey,
365 sousaphones on the football field at one time. We did a tribute to John Philip Sousa.
I
Um,
love John
and
Philip Sousa.
and and so it was our band director came up with this idea of actually taking a riverboat and having it float down the football field. So 360, yeah, 300, it was 365, 367 white sousaphones that made up all the stacks and the boat and everything else like that. And yeah,
Okay,
went
that's
down the
fucking
went,
cool.
it was
That is
awesome. It was
fucking
awesome.
cool.
It was awesome. But
You never
then
cease to amaze me.
with symphonic band, I played French horn, and there was a time that they needed someone to play bassoon.
I
So
played the bassoon in concert.
yeah, so I played bassoon.
But you know what's weird about that, and shows how talented you are. But the embouchure from trumpet to French horn to tuba is the complete
Completely
opposite.
opposite. And then
Complete opposite.
try switching that onto like an actual double reed instrument. It's
Yeah,
mm-mm.
the
I
double
couldn't play
reed
the
is.
bassoon. It tickled my lips. It was very arousing. I
I
tried.
played I played the flute in marching band, and then in concert band I played the bassoon
Wow. I just played trombone. And you know why I play trombone? No one wants to guess?
because it slides. I don't.
No, because they told me that that was the instrument that girls weren't allowed to play.
Oh,
Of course,
So I'm like, fuck you, I'm playing it.
well,
of course. I also went to contests every year with my piano.
oh.
I didn't know you
And
played piano.
mm,
Hey, we should start a ragtime band.
I don't
I
know.
would have to practice long and hard to play again.
Yeah, probably the only thing musical that I could probably do. I mean, I retained my voice, but I didn't like a lot of my musical stuff. It's not there. I mean, I can sight read music and so on and so forth, but you know, mostly
I
the only
tried
thing I
to,
could do is
yeah,
sing.
I bought myself a flute. I was gonna relearn,
Yeah.
and I didn't get very far.
I cannot read music anymore. I've forgotten how to read music. It's one of those memory things, that I've lost, but maybe
Mhm.
I'll get it back. But um, that's interesting that we're all a musical band people. That's pretty interesting.
I played in the stage band in high school too.
Yeah, me
Really?
too. I was in the concert band, the marching band, and the jazz band.
I was in all the bands that I could possibly be in, plus the choirs. So I was in the Magical Singers. I was in like the regular chorus. My claim to fame is in college. I played Charlie Brown and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Literally,
Oh,
literally shaved my head bald with one little long
oh
piece on the
my
front
gosh.
that curled up in the front. I love that production. The cast or the person who did all the set design took the average height of all of us on the cast and compared that to 9-year-olds, and then built the entire set in proportional size to how we would be sitting on stuff as 9-year-olds.
That's
Oh,
clever.
that
And
is very
so
clever.
it was freaking amazing. We had such an amazing time. So in fact, one of my favorite memories of all time is when we were in Chicago. No, I'm sorry, we were in New York. This was way back when the Pope was coming through to visit New York, and I think it's St. Michael's or St. Pete's. I can't remember which cathedral it is right there in New York. Um, they were redoing their sanctuary, and so the choir director knew the choir director there, and they're like, "Hey, well, why don't you guys come up and sing, and you can help us, get the acoustics right for the, for the sanctuary for the Pope." And he's like, "Okay, no problem." So that's where we went for our trip. We got there, we went into take and practice, and we learned an Italian mass. Um,
Wow.
and it was beautiful. I mean, we did everything a cappella. So, it was just absolutely gorgeous. The space was beautiful. I mean, the acoustics were beautiful. We got finished and everybody decided to go to lunch, and we went to this, it was right off of 54th Street, I think. Maybe it's 34th, I don't know. But there was an Italian restaurant, and you entered in like kind of the corner, and then you would go down like one side or down the other. And so a whole bunch of the choir people went down the opposite direction, and we're kind of in a big room on the side, and we're all sitting there talking and having a good time. And one of the guys comes out and says, "Hey, we're Italian, really, 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 big Italian, like accent." He's like, "Hey, where are y'all from? Where y'all from?" And we say, "Slippery Rock University of Pennsylvania." "I don't know that." And he goes, "Well, what are you here for? What are you here for?" And so we told him that we're going to be singing an Italian mass at St. Michael's, and he's like, "Oh, that's at my church. That's at my church." And he goes, "Hey, hey, 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 singing me a song, singing me a song, I feed you. Singing me a
Oh,
song, I feed you." And so we all looked at each other and we're like, "Well, there's nothing says that we can't sing a little bit of the mass here, right?" And so we chose a place to start, and everybody got their pitch pipes out, and so we started singing. And this is in the middle of New York. I mean, and so we're all like focusing on each other to make sure that we're getting the inflections and the sound and everything like that correct. And so we came to the end of this, the piece that we did and finished up, and it was like New York stood still. There was no one talking in the restaurant.
mm.
People were at the windows, like looking in, going, what's going
What's
on? What's
going
going
on?
on? What's going on?" People had to come down from the other side and were standing in the line. And so we looked up at the guy that had come out, and he has tears just streaming down his face. I mean, and I will never forget what he said next, because he didn't say anything to us, but he turned around to the kitchen, okay? And he took a big breath in, like, and then he shouts, "Luigi, I'll bring them anything that they want, anything that they want." And all of a sudden, the doors just burst open, and they came out with just all kinds of pastas and breads and salads and just
Oh,
all kinds of stuff. And
wow.
we're like, "No, no, no, we couldn't possibly." And he's like, "You can't turn it down. It's a gift. You can't turn it down." And so we took enough food for like the next day, like for the entire choir, back with us to the thing. And he and his family showed up that Sunday, for the mass. And he was so proud. He was like, I know of them. I know of them. And they are sang for me before they sang for you. So that's one of my best memories. I mean, I just absolutely enjoyed that.
That is a wonderful, wonderful story.
Because
Oh,
that's what, you know, when something like that happens, you know that that person is genuine,
Oh yeah.
you know, the tears were genuine.
Oh, and it was, I can't describe the feeling that I had with that silence, because, we were out in New York City for hours, kind of walking around and everything like that. And New York City has its own buzz. Okay. And for us to sit there and then all of a sudden, like, that silence, it was just like, oh my God, wow. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was an amazing experience. I mean, I've had more experiences, with band and things like that, but never anything like that. Never anything
you
like that.
know, that makes me think about something, Doctor. You were talking about us doing maybe different things, when we were talking about TikTok and this story here. Maybe we need to get our asses off this podcast sometimes and go do something in a cafe or a coffee shop.
I would love that.
Let's think about that. What would that look like? How do we do that? Do we want to do that? You
I know
know,
that there are places out there that, I mean, would be more than welcome to let us set up to broadcast and interview, or to tell stories, or, you know, whatever else inside of their establishment.
I would love to do that. And which tells you that something about COVID changed me, because I was in heaven during COVID because I like my isolation. But this past year, it has become more and more aware to me. I need to be out among people more than I used to. I
I would
want
agree
to.
with that. Honestly, I would agree with that, because I think this year, another one of the things that I want to do is to be more social, to be out with friends and be out with family, and to, be able to interact a little bit more, not just sit at home and be isolated. So yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about that when we get off screen later this week, about what
Sure.
that would look like and how we could facilitate that. And I would love to interact with people, if nothing else, just talking to them when they walk by and, hey, what's the matter with you? Come talk to us, and, what color is your underwear today? Anything, It just
I,
to get
you
people
know, I
talking,
just,
because
I
go
have
ahead.
found that if you get your cards out and you just put them on the table, it brings a conversation.
It does.
Well, and I just had an experience this weekend where I was hired for a party for 2 hours. I thought there'd be plenty of time. She thought there'd be plenty of time. I had a line around the house because it's in a private home. They kept me for another hour. Still did not get everybody taken care of. And people were offering to pay me out of their own pockets to stay even longer, but I was exhausted. I had to go. But the point of that is that everybody was so hungry to get connected, so hungry to get information, so hungry to get encouragement. And how do we facilitate that? Well, all of us have been doing that through working, gigs and parties, but maybe we got to do more than that. Maybe that's just not enough. Maybe we need to put ourselves out there and do some throwdown. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Very possible. I mean, I
Didn't
think that's a
hurt.
great idea.
Didn't hurt.
Yeah,
But
it is.
that story, it moved me so much. And in the fact that we all think that we have what we need, but it seems like everybody, especially now, more so, or maybe I'm just more aware of it because I'm older, everybody's looking for something else and they can't put a word to it. They can't put a label to it, but they know it when they see it and they know it when they feel it. And they don't want to let go of it when they do.
Yeah. So what do you think people are looking for in 2024? I mean, what are some of the things that you've heard that people are saying, I'm going to do X, Y, Z? What have you heard?
I haven't heard anybody say anything. I haven't heard anybody say anything.
And
They're
that's
just
really interesting because I
sustaining.
haven't either. I haven't either. And
Nothing.
so, you know, if we can maybe look at being a catalyst for like creating that change, maybe that's what we need to look at.
Well, I had an experience a couple months ago that I'm not going to go into detail about because some people might question a lot of things. But what I took away from that experience is that I really wanted deeper connections with the people I cared about.
Mm.
And not, and wait a minute, strike that. Cancel. What I became away with is that I had a huge, deep connection with the people that I cared about, but I wasn't expressing it. And I want to
Mm.
express it more. I want them to feel it more. I want to verbalize it more. I want to exhibit it and act on it more. And I think that's what people are looking for. They're not looking for more connection. They're looking for expressing the connections that they have in a way that facilitates them being able to be vulnerable and not be hurt.
A deeper connection.
A deeper connection. I like that. Yeah.
You know, that's what I think. And I don't think they know how to verbalize that.
No, because what I'm looking for is something authentic, and I want it needs to be reciprocal.
Okay, I'm going to work on your language right now. Everybody's getting a free coaching less than 5 minutes, right? Okay. You have had authentic relationships. The people were very authentic with you. What you want is a loving, authentic relationship
Yes.
that is equal.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
lopsided.
Yes. Let's work on this language and adjust it.
Okay.
Okay. Because you're going to keep getting those authentic relationships and they suck.
Because I feel that I bring a lot to the table
You do bring a lot to the
that is
table.
not recognized.
Oh, I think it's recognized. It's just not appreciated because they are not. It's pearls before swine, Luann. Pearls before swine. And that's been a common theme lately with a lot of people that I have been working with, talking to, exchanges, is that they have things that they offer and they think because they recognize their own value now, they've worked very hard to recognize their own value, that the rest of the world is going to recognize it. And they may actually recognize it, but it doesn't mean that they want it or appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you have to be appreciated.
Okay, so here's the other thing I've noticed about our podcast. I've gone back and actually watched some of them.
Oh no.
And I start out trying to be funny and sarcastic and witty, and I always wind up preaching at the end of it. What do y'all think about that? Do I need to do something different or what?
No, because I think that that's a natural progression of who you are. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get offended by that, you know.
Oh, good, because it surprised me. I was not expecting that.
Well, we try to start out lighthearted but every time there's a detour to something a little more serious, to something, because we're what's the word?
I think we're just wise. I think we're just wise. We have all paid our dues. We've worked very hard to get to where we are in life. And that is the whole point of being older, I think, is being able to share what you know with others, hopefully to make their job easier or their road not so rocky. But we all know nobody really listens, do they? They just have to do it on their own.
They
And we
do
just
have to
kind of
do,
hold their
but
hand while they do.
you hope that you're being an example and saying, this is what happened to me, and this didn't work out for me because of that.
Right. Which is
So
why I'm doing that audio biography of mine.
uh-huh.
I feel like there's a lot of value in a lot of my trials and tribulations. I didn't realize that was going to be so hard, though. I'm like,
I made her cry.
it's really dredged up a bunch of crap for me. So,
Now, was there stuff that you've actually buried, or do you think that you really need to look at it?
no, it's stuff that I've dealt with. it's kind of like anytime you look through a photo album, there's nostalgia there. It's bittersweet. Um, the other thing is that I'm getting memories back that I thought I had lost permanently. And it's emotional just to get the memories back, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. It's just, you're like, oh my God, maybe my brain's not totally ruined. You know, it's functioning again. So
Well, that's a blessing. I mean, keep doing what you're doing because I mean, it's incredible, hearing the little pieces and parts of your story. But I like hearing about people's lives,
I do
Um,
too.
I love hearing about, how they reacted to something. I mean, I could listen to my grandmother or my grandfather tell stories about the old days, you know, I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. I mean, there were some other grandkids that could freaking care less, but you know,
I have a cassette tape that is broken, but it has some stories on it that my cousin brought the cassette tape to record my grandmother.
oh,
She asked
Mm.
her questions and she told stories.
I would love
And
that.
I don't know what to do with it. I would love to have it
I
put
think you can get it
digital.
repaired. I think you can get that repaired at certain places still, but
Yeah, there's actually remastering places that will take that the magnetic tape and transfer it to digital.
Because
So I
it's
know,
not very long, but there are some days when I wish I could listen to it.
yeah.
Oh, this is your
you know
fault.
what's interesting to me though is that I feel like I know both of you fairly well, even though I haven't known you, doctor, as well as long as I have Luann. But it's always surprising to me every time we do a podcast, I learn something new about each one of you.
Mhm.
That just comes up in natural conversation. And I think that's the key to what people are missing. And Scott has switched careers and he's working with elderly people right now. And people don't feel like they're being encouraged to share just tidbits. And what you were talking about, Luann, with recording things like that, that's an
Oh,
indication.
look, I was not lucky enough to have my parents until I was 23. I mean, and when you're that age, it does not occur to you that maybe you should record some of their stories. So to have the opportunity to hear some of my grandmother's stories is priceless.
Hmm. I always love Matthew's stories. He has a very interesting family with a very interesting dynamic that compares to my own. So it makes me feel
It's definitely dynamic. I will tell you that.
like dynamic or dynamite.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Well, all right. So we haven't come up with anything we're going to do this year, but we're going to think about it and we're going to talk about it. So hey, we're one step ahead of the game.
Well, I am going to rebrand. Okay. I'm doing that.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. You don't have a choice. They took your
Yeah,
choice away.
they
So,
did.
and Dr. Matthew starting a new business, and I just want to perpetuate Miles to Smile so we all get rich. So, there you have it.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up, for 2024. I mean, business wise for me, I'm hoping personal wise for me as well. I thought that, taking and, getting my brace and I was going to get, back on, I had little setbacks here and there and so on and so forth. But I'll tell you what, 2024 is starting off pretty good for me right now. So I'm just thankful
I
for
got
that.
a great idea. I got a
Uh-oh.
great idea that'll take care of two things. Oh my God. Oh my God. So let's come up with three names for Luann's business. And let's let people vote on which name they like the best. We're just letting them vote. We don't care.
Did
Wait.
you hear the
I know
full
what you said.
conversation we had before
I know,
this?
I know. You're gonna like this. Then wait. The whole point of this is that if they vote, we don't care what they vote for because we're not even gonna look at it, but we're gonna enter their name into a raffle, and then we're gonna pull their name, and whoever wins the raffle gets a date with Dr. Matthew.
There you go.
I
Yeah,
love it.
no.
Oh.
No.
No.
No?
I was killing two birds with one stone.
And I love you for trying. I really do.
Oh,
What's so bad about that? Little blind date?
A
blind-
little blind date. Well, seeing that your demographic is probably going to be 98% women.
no, we're going to promote it in the gay community. We're not stupid. We know what our demographics got to be. Okay, he thinks we're stupid. Oh my
No,
God.
I never said that.
Do
I
do
never
you
said
think
that.
that we would try to set you up with a woman after
It's
what
been
we
done.
know?
It's been done before.
Probably
been
not
done before.
well.
We would not
Probably not.
insult you.
Been done before.
No, we're going to promote it in the gay community, and we'll have the drawing at the Eagle.
What's that?
It's a gay bar.
That would be funny. Okay, that
I
would
have some
actually be
stories
funny.
about the Eagle. Y'all get me drunk one night on Kahlua, and I'll tell you my stories about the Eagle.
You know, they just reopened like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Love it. I haven't been there
Yeah.
yet. I haven't been there yet.
Why not?
Just haven't been out and about.
He's got to
We'll have
get
to compare gay bar stories sometime. I used to go to a lot of gay bars.
Well, I mean,
looking for your husband.
No. No. Okay. They had the best music. They're always open after hours, and you could always get a date at a gay bar. I don't care what sex you were, because by the time 2 o'clock rolled around, they would dance with anybody.
Yep.
So gay men are great dates.
Let
They
me
are
tell you,
great
some of the
dates.
best fun I ever had was when I went with one of the surgical technologists who was gay. He danced with me all night, and I loved it.
Why didn't you say a gay guy who was also a surgical technologist?
A surgical technologist who was a gay guy.
No, he's a gay guy who was a surgical technologist. I mean, really, how do you decide what
Because
goes
to
first in
me,
a sentence?
Because to me, his first job was surgical technology, not the fact that he was gay. That was other.
I'm just trying to get us to think about language styles and
I
patterns.
understand, because I have a really bad habit of saying blah 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 blah, even if he is gay. Sorry, Matthew. And that's not what I mean.
Hey, listen, when it comes to like the gay scene and things like that, I don't take offense to a lot. I mean, there's certain words that I will just completely and totally like ignore you. Okay. But I mean, I don't take offense to it. I mean, I can be driving down the road, and I've had these cute little girls that are in their cars, pull up beside me. You're like, and they're like, hey, pull over, give me a call, and I'm like, yeah, no, and they're like, why, I'm like,
Do they get that?
oh yeah.
Okay, here's what really pisses me off about the gay community. There's only one thing that pisses me off. Gay women never make passes at me. Am I not cute enough to date? I mean, seriously, come on, what is it? Gay men make passes at me. They
No, your
flirt
Home
with me.
Depot card isn't big enough.
Oh my, well, it's got a $10,000 credit line on it. Maybe I should wear that on my forehead.
Well, I mean, if you'd like drive around in a U-Haul, you might get more attention.
I mean, for God's sake, I have dated so many gay men. I was married to a gay man. I had a gay man take me home to his mother and go, this is the only woman that could get me to have straight sex in the world. I mean, what the hell? And not one gay woman, lesbian, has ever made a pass at me. What the hell? I'm cute.
So sorry.
I'm cute. They won't even ask me to dance. I quit going to Sue Ellen's because no one would ever dance with me. I go across the street and go to JR's,
I'll tell you
Whatever.
what, I actually do want to go back to Sue Ellen's, because there's a band there. I'm not sure if they're still playing there or not, but and they were amazing. They're an amazing band.
I'll go with you, but you have to promise to dance with me.
Sure, absolutely, I'll do it.
I'm not going to Sue Ellen's again and sitting there all night. Not doing it.
Well, you have to look at their concert ticket and see who's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. That's his
And
job.
I have so many stories about the gay scene in Dallas and actually the gay scene in Fort Worth as well. God, I could write a book on that one too.
That's where they originated the saying, save a horse, ride a cowboy, was Fort Worth.
Mhm.
Save a horse, ride a
Not a
cowboy.
cowboy. Yeah.
Oh God. Well,
Okay, we've
I know.
digressed.
I guess I'm just too straight-laced. I had a friend in Wichita Falls before I left. She goes, "Now, before you leave, I need to tell you something." And I went, "Okay." Well, I like women. I said, "I am so mad at you." She goes, "I knew you would be upset." I said, "Yeah, because for years I've been trying to set you up with guys, and now you're telling me you prefer women? Thanks a lot." She goes, "You're not upset I'm gay?" And I went, "No. No, I'm upset you lied to me."
No.
Oh.
Oh my God. Okay. We've just so digressed. But this is the fun part of we should just have one where we just talk about weird shit one day. Oh, we already do that. Ugh.
Oh, we already did that.
How's this any different?
Okay, so Deborah, your job is to help me to address the way I say things. That's what our
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get wait, Luann, let me get some paper and pen and add that to my list of 1,000 things that's my job, especially for your column. Okay. All right. Got it.
is that's number 25, right?
2,500.
But what I'm trying to say is that if there's something I need to readdress, that you will point it out.
I will. I always do that because I always like to see you at your best because you have so much to offer. Okay, you're going to have to do something different next week, Mr. Pierce, Dr. Pierce, because your face keeps blocking out and it makes it look like you're melting and it's freaking me out.
Well, it's because of the background, so maybe I'll dusty up the background a little bit.
Okay, so only old people will get this. Handle it, Roy. Handle it.
Handle it, Roy. Handle it.
All right, Luann, tell them how to find you, or can they find you right now?
They can't find me.
What about your website and your
Yes,
email?
they can find my website, herbal-lou.com. They can find that. Other than that, I'm a ghost in the wind. If you're getting anything from Herbal Lou on Facebook, I don't even own it anymore. Someone has hacked it and taken it over and changed its name.
I'm
That's
sorry.
so sad.
It's
Damn those hackers, damn them.
So not only am I
They
going to
did
change
it.
the name, not only am I going to change the name of my business, I have to come up with a new name for my personal page too.
Y'all didn't appreciate my Charlton Heston impersonation. Damn them.
Damn them.
All right, Dr. Pierce, tell them where the hell you are.
You can get a hold of me at matthewapierce.com. And that's Matthew at matthewapierce.com. Or you can look me up at metaphysicalevents.com and Matthew at Metaphysical Events. Both companies up and going, one for business coaching and readings. The other one is for all things the metaphysical. So business listings and, looking at websites and branding, everything else.
So you can find me at milesofsmilesevents.com, which is the sponsor of the show. We're intuitive, interactive entertainment. I'm Deborah Colleen Rose. I also own Investigative Solution Groups Unlimited, ISGU.com. We're a private investigation company. But if you really want to find me, I'm seriously thinking about hanging out at Dos Banderas every day for happy hour. I'm really considering that as a new move for me.
They have a drink I love.
Oh yeah, they have and the shrimp nachos are divine. Oh my God.
What?
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay,
They put just,
drinks and shrimp nachos. When is this happening?
hey, maybe we could do our show down there. I don't know. Maybe.
Good luck.
I'm going to eat on the air though if we do.
Fine.
When can you get to this side of town? You live over there in bumfuck Egypt. Where can you get over here?
I drive to all over, so yeah, whenever. So just
He will drive to Bumfuck Egypt to see.
Okay, let's do it Thursday then.
Thursday, Thursday, I'm booked all day. Sorry.
Well, then
And-
you tell us what your busy schedule is, Cinderella, and we'll schedule around it. All right, everybody say goodbye.
Bye now.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Happy New
See
Year.
ya. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.